Alright, well, despite my procrastination, we are back in the time loop. It's my second time to recording this race, but we have arrived at Fuji Speedway for what we have chosen to be the start of our expedition outside of the Universe Zero tracks. Mainly because, yes, Assetto Corsa never really did anything outside of Europe. Except for Laguna Seca and Black Hat County, which isn't even a real track, so figured the best place that we would look, we'd start in Asia and work our way around to the Americas. And if somehow all of that doesn't reveal the location of at least one of the two, then they just follow us around. I mean, for all we know, they could be at Monza right now. And we're just chasing them around the planet fruitlessly. Can't really know until we bump into him somewhere. Oh, I forgot to go over the characters. Well, I mean, I'm playing... I guess it doesn't matter too much. You're not going to see half of them in the race anyway. But I am playing as TwinMill. And that in front of us is Bubbles. And they may be behind us in a second because this thing just took off. No, because this no-name just sent it. Never mind. Well, I mean, I'm ahead of her, but now we just have some other BMW ahead of me. I had seen that one. I just knew the way that the car just like got like a bit of top spin when it hit the brakes. I was like, that must be a very low bias. Indeed. 55, meanwhile I usually have it above 60. I'm just gonna put it on 58 and see if that ever becomes a problem. If I have another issue like that, as I just almost did, I'll probably put it at 60, and if it somehow still continues to make a problem, to the regular 62 I go. This car is solid on the entries, but sometimes it actually enters too well, and then proceeds to want to just, like, 360 as soon as I get out of the turn. Top speed, not the Porsche specialty. That's reserved for the 4GT. This thing is all about tight steering and competitive acceleration. I think it has naturally shorter gear ratios than the other GTEs. But yeah, if you like a car that turns in incredibly sharply, the rear-wheel drive setup of the Porsche is for you. If you do not like your car trying to jump scare you on corner entries, then the Porsche is not for you. As you see there, I was ready for it, and it still kind of caught me by surprise. But at least, unlike other cars, alright, 62, because that was ridiculous. The thing is, unlike some other cars, the Porsche always does it. And you can work around it. Some cars will go from understeering to doing what the Porsche just did there in a matter of like 2 corners, and you don't know that's going to do that until you've hit a wall. I can think of a pretty good example, and I would know because I experienced it on the first attempt of recording this episode where I drove an Aston Martin and crashed on lap 2. I didn't even like make a mistake. I just took the corner normally, and on exit the car just like committed suicide on me. It was kind of depressing, to be honest. It was that corner, the car just never stopped turning left. The Aston Martin became a NASCAR. And then it became a crashed car. Oh, all of the curb. All of it. Oh yeah, let's get this one for good measure, because I just totally butchered that. Now, it doesn't help the whole brake bias thing here is, pretty much the entire last half of the track is hairpins, which you must brake heavily and not in a completely straight line. Doing that in a car like this can be hazardous, as we saw on the previous lap. All of this said, it's still turning pretty swiftly, so it's getting TwinMill incredibly good results. That is too late. Tried braking at the curb instead of the sign, and I almost missed the turn totally. Remember when this series was originally going to be 250 episodes, and then I literally cut that in half at like episode 60? And now I'm going to finish it at exactly 100. Or probably 101, so I'll probably do some sort of retrospective slash future ideas type thing. Yeah, and there are a few contributing factors to that downfall. Biggest, it's just the way that this game functions. If we had a game like this with the handling model of, say, Gran Turismo 6, I probably could have kept it to at least 150 episodes. But it's the platform that we're using here, and also me having to actually play the game doesn't necessarily help. That is fast! Perfect. So yeah, don't be an idiot me, just do it at the sign. But yeah, so this game takes approximately... Keep braking early for that. Approximately 5 minutes to start the application, get through the, like, press start to begin screen, and then load through the demo, or pretty much like from start application to green flag is like 6-7 minutes. Then you have to factor in, okay, so 6 minutes have passed, and I'm finally at the pre-race screen. And some character I didn't want in the race is there, or some characters, or like the character that I wanted isn't there. Also, holy crap, there's Mount Fuji. And it looks absolutely amazing at sunset. But yeah, so say one of those two scenarios takes place. That means I have to back out of the race, go back into the race, and each one loads, well, leaving the race only has to load me for like 40 seconds, which is still pretty bad to get to the main menu. But then to go back into the race is another 2 minutes past. And I have to continue to do this until I get a lineup I'm okay with. So, on average, 10 minutes just to start the first race. and then it's a 25-minute episode. That's assuming everything goes well. If, like I did earlier, I crash, or discover that I'm just simply using a car that's not going to work, then I have to, well, get however far I just got in that original attempt at recording the episode, scrap that, and then, like, if it's late enough in a race, if it's past like 15 minutes, then I'll just say, oops, I'm out of the race, and go with that as part of, yes, this happened. But when it's lap 2, I don't have that liberty. So anywhere between like 1 to 15 minutes of wasted time on the failed recording, another 3 minutes to reset the race, most likely having changed cars and or tracks. And if I have changed a track, then the loading screen will be even longer, as it has to unload the assets of the previous course and load the assets of the new one. So, yeah. Potential of half an hour before I actually start the recording that ends up being used for the video. And then it's a 25-minute race, and then I upload it for 15 minutes. So one episode will take, at minimum, like 40 minutes of my time. At max, well, I once had to go, it almost took me an hour and a half to record one of the earlier parts. And that wasn't even one of the episodes I did that was longer than 25. I believe it was the first time that time loop used Sakito, or the rip-off version of Suzuka that I usually just call Suzuka anyway because it's easier. I had struggled on that track for so long. The other time that got pretty close was first attempt at Indianapolis, and the first time that So Fast had raced. That was a nightmare because I hate the Audi R8 with a burning passion in this game. As it, if you recall, oh my god, the brake bias, please! Any higher than 63 and it's unhealthy. As it tries to do it again. But yeah, the Audi R8 is exactly what I described before, as it doesn't turn until it does. The Porsche is always turning, so you can adapt your driving style around it, but the Audi just doesn't always turn. So you go into a corner, think, okay, I need extra effort to make it make the corner, and then suddenly the car is like, deja vu, I have just hit this wall before, and then you feel like an idiot. And that's a lot of vehicles in this game. Which kind of brings to the next point of why this is kind of a frustrating platform for a series like this, is this is usually a pretty casual driving experience. It's just some sort of GT race car driving around for 25 minutes. But this game is far from that. Most people would say that for me to not put any practice into this game, do a nearly half-hour race on a controller is almost inhuman. Because this game is a notoriously hard game, even for the sim racing genre. Part of that is just accidental difficulty from the game just being at occasional times, but it is also very accurate. Rain is incredibly difficult, and any other kind of track temperature is going to make the race even more difficult. Some kind of like summer storm condition would almost be like an impossible race to finish, unless you're like the next Lewis Hamilton. Red Hot Racing Circuit, before that one died off because of F1 2020 having released, And there will be a series for that in some point in the future. Not immediate future, but it will be happening. And that one I was able to get out at a different rate from Time Loop because, yes, episodes were longer, but the game was just easier to play. And if I screwed up, it wasn't the end of the video, I just flashed back. I don't have that option. If I screw up here, my car is totaled, and my car is totaled, my disappointment is immeasurable, and my video is ruined. So I just have to do it again. So despite being videos that are sometimes 20 minutes longer than time loop ones are, sometimes it's actually faster to get out a Red Hot Racing Circuit video than it is to get one of these done. That Sector 3 was almost perfect, by the way. The second thing... well, kind of really, that's like the third thing. Because the first thing is the game's difficulty, and the second thing being the game's technical setbacks. And they both kind of tie into the kind of series that Time Loop aims to be. Like, it's a series based off of Hot Wheels games, and yet it transitioned into what is considered a full-blown sim racing game that is well beyond the likes of most regular console games like a Need for Speed or even a Gran Turismo or Forza. The car selection and track selection works well for this series. However, I've occasionally had to literally practice for the videos if they have to be done on a specific track. I actually put time into creating a setup for when I first won Indianapolis. Because for whatever reason, I was just having an absolute nightmare just, like, doing that track. And same thing went for when I first won Suzuka, or Discount Suzuka. I actually had to take a solid 10 minutes just to practice the track and make a setup that allowed me to survive. Azure Circuit, this game's a ripoff of Monaco. I actually had to practice for that a little bit too. And then all of that practice went to waste because the car I was driving, having been totally destroyed by me colliding with the wall, was a very different beast from the one I had just practiced 15 minutes with. And there are some tracks that I just am not going to use or just haven't used yet, just due to their difficulty. I've used Le Mans once, but that's actually not a very difficult track in my mind. It's just long. And so that combined with its heritage makes it seem fitting for like a bigger event towards the end of the series. Oh, great one, me. Thank God first gear is short and pretty much doesn't even need to be in the car. This car hates that corner, you have no idea. Yes, the other reason though is just kind of the dedication that I've garnered towards the America's Tour, the NASCAR Heat series that me and Tyler do on his channel, is like, it's a cross between pretty much any series I've done but also with like a second person playing the game, so I don't even have to play. And it's like Time Loop, it's a massive cluster of all kinds of different characters. Holy fog. This is also the same fog from Red Bull Ring. And really make the morning view of Mount Fuji kind of not a thing. I don't know what kind of divine being, or like divine side of me I just tapped into, but that lap was like, as close as I can get to just like sheer perfection. And watch it not somehow be my fastest lap. No, there's no way. That's a low 38. That was fast. I don't remember how fast I would go in a car I would normally drive a lot like the Corvette, but that couldn't have been too far from it. And then yeah, so yeah, the America's Tour is intense racing, which sometimes get on Red Hot. You usually get it on Red Hot Racing Circuit, but you don't usually get it from here, or especially not from Universe Zero. That was a rarity for the AI to actually like battle for the win on that game. Since, you know, the fastest car just gets ahead of everybody else really fast, unless some crazy stuff happens. And it was really just down to hoping that the starting grid put the fastest cars at the back, so we had to see them watch, or we had to watch them go through the field in such a way. It may be 2 laps to go, but I mean, yeah, it probably is 2, but it might be 3 if I somehow just go really fast in both these 2 laps. And if I do that, I'll cross the line with like a second to go. But yeah, and then it combines the oddity of having a bunch of characters from a bunch of different places kind of being oriented with a random car, kind of like Time Loop. Like, actually exactly like Time Loop. That's kind of what that was founded upon. And as such, so yeah, there's that facet. And yeah, it's sort of like it's got parts of all 3 series. It has the spectator aspect of I'm watching Tyler play a Heat 4, or 5 now, as Heat 5 has come out like earlier this week. And that's almost like Universe Zero, but with the crazy set of characters, everything from Toho to Hot Wheels World Race to real-life Formula 1 drivers. Formerly Sonic characters, Cartoon Network characters. But unfortunately, unlike Time Loop, which can have an unlimited number of characters as long as I still have a livery to use, the America's Tour could only have 40 cars in one race, as is just how NASCAR works. And also, no, we're not getting a third lap here. This will be the final one because that previous lap was not bad, but it wasn't fast enough. So unless I set a minute 36 lap time here, which I'm pretty sure I'm physically incapable of doing that, unless I cut a corner, this will be the end. But yeah, and then it's got close, intense NASCAR pack racing like I would see as I play Red Hot Racing Circuit in the F1 games myself. Well, I've been around this track plenty of times, and I can confirm, Carbon and Paradox, not here. But what is here is an absolute thrashing of the opposition, as TwinMill is going to win this race by an undetermined amount of distance. I'm just going to skip the cooldown lap. What was that difference? Oh, they're not going to tell me. Okay. It said on the, unless it's waiting for them to come around. The game is still playing, so I'll wait like a few seconds. Either way, it is absolutely a record. Yeah, I finished exactly 1 second after 25 minutes, so that is definitely the shortest race in Time Loop, but I don't think it'll be the shortest episode. Oh, there they are. Nearly 40 seconds. The record before was like 15 by Captain Falcon. TwinMill just doubled that and then some. Bubbles comes in 51 seconds after me to take third. And only 4 cars finished with less than a minute behind me. I almost lapped last place. I think if there were like 2 more laps, I'd have lapped that Corvette. That was just straight up slaughter, TwinMill.